Pregame.com.
Colts at Bucks, Monday Night Football, and Tampa Bay is laying 10 points. Marco, I'm going to be taking the lead on this game. How bad are the Colts? Because you watched every play of the Pittsburgh game. An interesting stat that I've been putting out there in the media is that in the last 10 seasons, the Colts have been double-digit dogs twice, this week and last week. Prior to last week, it had been 10 years. Now, clearly that's the Peyton Manning factor. I look at this game and I think maybe I'll just tell you my 30-second handicap and you can tell me how it's more complicated. One is I want to take double digits whenever I can. Mm-hmm. The stats are back to 1989. You win 51.6% of the time as a double-digit away dog. So you're significantly better than a coin flip, and that's over 600 games. So you got some real data there. Number two is Tampa is not any good at home. It's shocking. They've only covered 5 of 21 games at home. 5 winners, 16 losers at home. So you take the double digits against a bad home team. Tell me why it's not that easy.
Well, one, this is a bad team. They're 0-3. The season's over for them. They played a game where they...
So you don't think they're going to be motivated?
The fact that this is
the whole season's over, what does that mean?
This is a team that knows they're not going anywhere.
So what does it mean?
When you're a perennial playoff team, I think it means a lot.
So wasn't that the case last week? They played a heck of a game against Pittsburgh.
They did. Teams that throw in that are going to be a towel tosser, so to speak, they're going to look for certain spots. TV games. Last week they were at home playing a team that played in the Super Bowl last year, a big marquee game on national TV. They didn't want to be
Understood.
embarrassed.
So are they going to be motivated or not this week?
They're going to be not as motivated because they are in Monday night. If this game was on Sunday, I'd have no problems laying a double digits with this.
Perfect. Well, you can do that video at home. Like, hypothetically, if this game was Friday, it's Monday, they're going to play. All right, now what?
Now, can they play? Kerry Collins looks like he's not going to play.
Well, now that's interesting because I just read right before we went on air that one, they're not sure if he's going to play or not, and two, Caldwell said if he's able to or not, I may not start him. Now, I actually reached out to 2 odds makers or bookmakers here in town, Chris Andrews, who's with Calneva, and Todd Furman, who's with Caesars, and they both said that that there's no power ranking adjustment between Painter and Collins. So really, it's irrelevant to the number here. Now, do you disagree with that?
Well, Painter has the experience with the system. Collins has the experience with just experience.
So do you have an adjustment between the two?
They're probably a coin flip at this point. If you would ask me that same question 3 weeks in a row,
that's another video you can do.
It is, but Kerry Collins, the more he would be familiar with this system, the better he would be in the system. But right now it's a coin flip. Yes.
Okay.
They're both bad.
All right, so let's dig into this whole idea of the 5 out of 21 at home. What's causing that? I mean, my gut feeling is it's apathy in the crowd. It's not selling out. The crowd doesn't care. What do you think?
That's exactly the point, and that's one of the reasons why being a Monday night game, you're going to have a different level of enthusiasm with that crowd. Because when was the last time,
That's great. And plus, when you have a Monday night game, when you haven't had one, haven't had them consistently, can be a big experience.
Absolutely.
I mean, is that game going to be sold out? You would think.
You would think for a Monday night game. I didn't look at that.
Can't you ask your iPad? Can you just go, well, it doesn't do that?
No, it doesn't do that. We got to type it in. But
you make a great point. Monday is changing this game in 2 ways. One, that apathy with Tampa Bay at home may not be so severe, may not even be there. And number 2, the Colts' motivation, it's hard to question too much on a Monday night game. All right, I'm keeping this simple. I'm going to project. I'm leaning dog, I'm leaning under. Not enough for me to play, though. I'm going to say Tampa Bay 21, Colts 14, and I'm going to call 2 opinions there, but no strong bets for me. Now we're going to go into overtime here real quick and talk about this whole double-digit dog thing. What we do in overtime is we've given you your pick. If that's all you want, you can move on to the next video. If you want to dig a little bit deeper, we're going to be talking double-digit dogs. All right, 51.6% for the away dog. 48.4% has that up to 100 for the home favorite. Now, laying double digits. Now, someone might say, a non-math guy, oh, that seems pretty close. But here's the difference. You got to get to 52.4 to break even.
Right.
52.38. We'll call it 52.4. So if you play a double-digit dog, you've got to find 0.8 points, less than 1 point of value, in addition to the fact you've got a dog. All right, you're a double-digit dog. You are almost there. You've got to find a little bit more value to break even. If you're going to lay 10 or more, you've got to find 4 points of value to get to break even. Assuming that you want to get to 55 to have a little bit of margin of error, now you've got to add another 2.6, so you've got to have 6.6 percentage points of value. Does that just pretty much tell you that you should never be laying double digits?
Mathematically, long term, you play all of those out, but again, there's no system, no angle that I've ever had that's an automatic that I play blindly in every situation.
But, and again, that's not what we're recommending here. What we're saying is that these stats can eliminate a very difficult uphill climb by saying just don't ever lay 10, because if you think the circumstances, and not to mention the fact that laying 10, and that's kind of building in the number, is you're always going to have the better team. It's always going to be the easier play for the public. You know, it's just hard to imagine you've uncovered some secret thing about this marquee team that makes them 4 points better, or, you know, upwards of 6 or 7 points better than what the public thinks they are.
To me, whenever I'm looking at a game that is double digits and I'm considering it, any game that I handicap, I try to start with the dog. You always start with the dog, and then you work from there. You know, it's in your advantage. But I think one of the reasons that double-digit dogs are more successful than double-digit favorites, both are a losing proposition, as you said, one's less. The situation is that the team that's the double-digit favorite, too often it is a situation where, as a situational handicapper, yes, they're the better team and they're in a look-ahead spot. Maybe they came off a bigger game last week and they blew somebody out, and it's something that you don't see. You know, teams coming off a big win, they're not going to get up to blow out a crappy team. You're going to be patting yourself on the back.
All built-in reasons why these numbers are what they are.
But if you find a situation where a team might be more focused and is a double-digit favorite against a team that might be in a negative, then there's a chance that the value is on the favorite. Like, to me, this week in the Monday night game, and I'm not sure. I'm leaning right now slightly to Tampa. I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger.
Call me if you want to bet that.
I'll call you. On Monday I will. But the situation is, Indianapolis, as bad as they've been this year, they got a little bit of love because of the way they rose up to the occasion on a national stage last Sunday night. Had they lost to the Steelers, if the Steelers went ahead and rolled them like it looked like it was going to start 10-0 right away, they would have been getting maybe 12 and a half here.
Well, I mean, but the fact that they didn't get rolled says something about the team, and I mean, and that's always the challenge of a football season, is each week you learn a little bit more, and then the public reacts, and the question is the public reacting properly, or are they misunderstanding, which is one of your strongest suits, identifying when the public looks at information and judges it incorrectly. All right, the only thing I'll say to wrap up the overtime here is that if you talk about a point or two, a percentage point or two not meaning anything, then you're losing sight of why the bookies build big old sports books with the gigantic TVs that cost $1 million. Because if you only shop for lines, if you take 3 books, flip a coin, and play whatever the coin is, but shop for the line, you can hit 51, 51 and a half just by line shopping. The difference between 51 and a half and 52.4 is literally how they build those sports books. So those couple points matter, and that's what we're here to teach them. All right, guys, that's it for Marco and me this week. If you didn't see all the videos, go back to pregame.tv. We also have videos coming from Vegas Runner, Brian Leonard, and Steven Nover. And you're doing some more, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so check them all out at pregame.tv.